Hey influencers, welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be an up close and personal video in reference to trying to see what you need to do to break into the industry. So I need you to hear me out, open up those ears and be ready to listen. Okay, if this is your first time seeing me, welcome to my channel. If it's not your first time seeing me, welcome back. Somehow everyone is driven to ask me questions, and I always love to provide answers if I can, or go digging for those answers, do my research and come back to you guys with some feedback and some answers to those questions. So I was asked, Nkechi, how do you think I will have a chance of breaking into the industry? What do you think I can do? Please help me. A lot of these videos are coming from my experience or my colleagues, friends, people that I know, people that I network with, and what they have done to break into the industry. HIM is a very rigorous program, and for you to go through all that course study, taking your exam, taking those certifications, and you're unable to find a job, I can understand where you're coming from. I was once in those shoes, and now I would like to share my knowledge with you guys out there. So the first thing I would say to do is to have an open mindset. The reason why I say open mindset is that a lot of us go through the program. Yes, we've paid our tuition, spent all this money, spent all this time, exhausted our whole life in this field, and then we truly expect to be paid and to get things that we need to get after we're done with our program. So having that open mindset, and if you're going to think to yourself that I need to break into the industry, I need to figure out ways that I'm going to go in, you have to have that open mindset, because the reality is that you're not going to find what you want. Some people do, so don't get me wrong. There are people who actually graduate from their program and they are into the industry. They're able to work, they're able to network, and they start right away with their job. But there's so many of us, me as a prime example, who have gone through that phase of my life and I wasn't able to find a job right away. The only problem that I had was that it took me a little bit of time, and that little bit of time I got impatient because I expected to graduate and go from graduation, after I'm done with my courses, take any kind of certification. Actually, I wasn't even expecting to sit for my certification before I landed that job. I wanted to get in the field as I do my certification. That's not realistic. It's not always like that. So I would say the first thing you want to do is have that open mindset and be ready to observe and settle for a whole lot of different things that you did not expect. And that is accepting what comes your way. A lot of us don't want to accept what comes our way. We expect to have it this way, but it's usually a different story. So what you want to do is expect the unexpected. You're not going to get that salary. You're not going to get that position that you want. So you have to be ready to have that open mind, take in whatever you're given, and use that to build yourself up. So the first thing I'm going to tell you to also do is think about it. If you're trying to break into the industry, you want to truly go ahead and say, okay, this is the best that I can get at the moment. Let me take this and let me use it as a stepping stone to build yourself to get to where you need to get to. You're not going to break into the industry if you don't give yourself that opportunity to start low. So a lot of people want that position. It doesn't come. I'm not going to apply for it. I'm not going to take it. I started in the HIM industry as a outpatient coding temp. Now, I won't tell you how much I made, but it was quite low. And I took this because my advisor advised me to take it. I was still a student. I was just a new graduate in the program, in an associate's level 2-year program. I hadn't sit for my coding certification, but I needed to break in. So even though I had that degree and I was one of the top students in the program, I still had to humble myself to get that position. And so I applied for the position. I got the position as a outpatient coding temp, and with that position I was able to work my way up. I got noticed, I got the attention I needed. People saw me and they saw my work ethics. They saw that I was ready to roll, and that granted that opportunity for me to move up. I did move up in a short period of time, but that also takes other things that you might want to apply as you move along building your career. I'll talk about that in another video. So you want to have that open mindset, and you have to be ready to take whatever salary you are given. It's not easy to say that. We have bills, we have things to pay for, but you want to make sure that that is done. The next thing I'm going to tell you that you need to do is you need to focus on goals. If my goals is that I want to become a coder or I want to become a director, you want to make sure that because you have that goal set in mind, you don't want anything to deter you from it. So you want to accept that low paying position. And when you get into that HIM field, that HIM industry, you use that to work your way up. You learn and you grab whatever knowledge you can get. Use that to step up. If I didn't go in as a coding temp, I would have never been where I am. Someone saw me. Someone saw the gift in me. Someone saw that I was able to do the job, and I volunteered myself. I kept my mindset on accept that low salary and use that to work my way up. And that was how I got into the field. So if you have to volunteer, if you need to do your intern, if you need to do some shadowing of people that are already in the field, do that. It's going to get you recognized. It's going to get you noticed. So that's how you can truly land your first position. You may have to settle for not what you're intending to get in order to get what you really want to get. And you will never be able to know if you truly are where you need to be if you don't start somewhere. So start low, have that open mindset, and just look at it as in, I'm accepting this low salary or this low position to get into another position. The department I work for has so many different HIM areas. We have release of information, we have tumor registry, we have coding, we have CDI. So because we had all these different areas anyway in the HIM department, that exposed me to a lot of different things. I think sometimes we are determined to try to get what we think we deserve, and we don't humble ourselves, which takes away from the opportunities that you could be granted. So because I accepted that coding outpatient position, getting paid next to nothing, I was able to be exposed to many other roles. I was able to also volunteer in a lot of leadership roles where they needed some sort of support or assistance, and that made those leaders to look at me and say, this person is serious about really getting into this field. And so being exposed to those different things granted me experience, and I was able to move up the ladder as a coding system coordinator, and then from there I kept moving up the ladder in a short period of time. So sometimes you need to accept next to nothing to actually become something. And I wanted to encourage you guys out there, because a lot of people have a hard time looking for a position, landing that first job. You really should consider taking whatever comes your way, as long as it's not outside of the scope of where you want to be. Remember, HIM is broad, so you could start as a release of information tech and you go into coding. You could start as a coding and go into data analyst. You just want to give yourself all available opportunities. So when you start knocking down some of these other positions that are not paying much, it's not where I really want to be, you're an incoming student. This is your first time in the field. With HIM, they're not just going to grant you that opportunity. Some people are blessed, and I always like to use blessed and not lucky to get into the field immediately. But a lot of people, it's not easy. They want those experience, they want those certification. A lot of time, 100% of the time, they want the experience more than just the certification. So if you know you don't have that experience, you can't expect but so much. So what you need to do is humble yourself, close your eyes, get that mindset right, and say, I'm going to go ahead and accept this position and use it to work my way through. And a few months in, you might be recognized depending on what you're doing, how diligent you're working, and that's going to help market you. And then you can get to see other things. You can get to network with people, clinicians, providers, you know, your colleagues, and they will educate you more on the different areas of HIM, and that could give you opportunities to really think through what you want to do in HIM. So keep that in mind when you're asking that question, how do I land my first position? You may have to volunteer. You may have to do free service. You may have to shadow. And those are the things that it's really hard to chew, because we've gone through school and I've gone and educated myself and I've paid all this money and I feel I deserve more. Please, please, please get that mindset right, because that will open doors for you. So I wanted to share this with you guys out there. As you explore your career, you go through your journey, keep an open mindset so that will give you room to really move up and open doors for you. I hope you found this video to be helpful. I hope you found it to be valuable. If you did, as always, please subscribe. I appreciate you all out there listening to me, supporting me. I'm reading the comments down below. Hit that notification bell so you're notified as I post these videos. Like, share it with family and friends, and I will see you guys on the next video.